Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Conan on King difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty that the game offers a player to be able to try his hand at and see if maybe he can pull out a victory. And I can't speak for the entire project, but I was able to victoriously make my way through this particular mission, which is ambitiously titled Monster Attack. So we have a giant squid to deal with, and from what I remember, I did this a few days ago. I'm only now getting back to having a few moments of respite to be able to commentate this video. This is a multi-phase boss fight with one checkpoint. It's plenty though, and this is some of the longer parts at first without a checkpoint. And basically what's going to be going on here is that you're going to be hitting this squid's hands, claws, I don't know what you would call those, but two chops from your weapon should be able to take it finished. Take it finished. Just you know, take it finished, I guess, is what we're going to be running with here. So why is it called the Stedrom? I have no clue. Also, in the last video, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. I'm going to remind myself to talk about it in a second. So, duly noted. So we've got a giant squid here to deal with, like I was saying. I don't know why it was called a Stedrom there. I'm not sure. But it's going to be grabbing some of our crewmates over here. And what you're going to be doing is going around and trying to deal damage to the hands that are grabbing the... Look at that! What the fuck? Oh man. So I had uncountable issues dealing with this boss fight on hard difficulty, and on this difficulty it was too easy. And I don't know what the issue is. I think I was just horrible at this game when I first played it. But what this thing does is it turns these crewmen into oil people, and these oil people are going to be familiar to you if you've played the game once, because they're an obnoxious enemy that can and can't be grabbed. They are the final boss's lackeys as well. Now, what are you saying? An enemy can and can't be grabbed? One of these grabbable enemies? I admit it is a grabbable enemy, and yet it's not. And it's not that my grab is failing, it's because these guys do a lot of punching attacks, and I'm almost positive that they can't be interrupted when they're punching. And also other times he just doesn't grab them. They can't be grabbed. They just do not let you grab them. And it just happens like 1 out of 3 times. I don't know what it is, guys, but I don't know what it is, if it's the game trying to do a certain type of a defense mechanism or what, but I can't account for it other than to say the game could be broken. So when it says that Stedrom nonsense there, you're just going to be going up to it and make sure that it doesn't drag the ship down to the ocean. Otherwise, you will run into a failure state. And also, when you have the Song of Death rage meter going, you can hit the claws and kill them in one hit. Although, I'm not talking about that claw there. See? One hit. Chopped up. We got it. So the idea here is basically to try to just hit the hands that are grabbing the crewmen. If you see anybody down on the ground, just go ahead and quickly execute them. And just keep working on the hands. And then you're going to get a checkpoint, and then you're going to be doing the second phase of the boss fight. It's the one that you get a checkpoint on. So if you die over here, you don't get a checkpoint, but there's health jars over here, and there's an MP jar, so there's a lot of things over here. And so the reason that I had problems going through this on hard difficulty was because I just didn't know how to play the game. It was as simple as that. It's not a hard boss fight by any stretch, although it's kind of annoying when you've got the oil people running around. And one of the reasons that they're annoying is for the obvious reason that they try to attack you, they interrupt you. But look at him. Like, what am I, Jesus Christ, all of a sudden? Like, what the fuck was that? like I've seen one of the whores doing that too. It's weird. And look at this is also weird. Look at this. Watch this. These crewmen start like bounce all over the place. Look at this. Look at that guy. Like everybody's Jesus Christ all of a sudden here. And look at that. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Okay, here's the next phase of the boss fight. He's going to actually put his beak up here and spit oil at us. And so these guys are obnoxious, like I was saying, because they do try to interrupt you, and they can and can't be grabbed. And also because when you're trying to hit the monster's beak over here, sometimes if the oil people are around you too closely, the auto lock-on will target them and not the beak. So see the mast in the center of the screen here? If you stand behind it, the oil will not hit you. The oil is what damages you, probably one of the most factors here. And if you watched the last video, there is a cut. It's when we first get to the fortress at the beginning of the video, like 5 minutes into the video, or maybe even sooner. When we get to the top of the fort and then I jump down to a lower level, there's a cut there. And the reason I did an edit there was because on the footage that was successful, I had a lot of enemies interrupting me, so I wanted to use a clip of me not getting interrupted because it actually looked comical and I was embarrassed actually. But for some reason, during that cut, I go from having 5 MP scores to having 6. And I was just watching the video. It's right before I start to accuse myself of not being able to count. And in that edit, like I go from having 5 MP squares to having 6, and before he start accusing me of cheating and things like that, I have no answer to why that is, unless they for some reason they just give you another MP square there. I don't know how that possibly happened. So if anybody has any ideas, like I am stumped right now. I cannot think of a reason why, like in the space of like 1 frame, I would get another MP square. Unless the only thing I can think of is that on the footage that comes before the cut, maybe the game didn't, for some glitchy reason, maybe it just didn't give me one of the MP squares on that particular run. Maybe I was supposed to have 6. I don't know. So it's one of those mysteries, I guess, for right now anyway, until somebody can shed some light on it. But this guy's simple, guys. He's so easy. It looks hard, but it couldn't be easier to deal with this guy. All you have to do is stand behind the mast and wait for him to spit the oil, and then do the combat roll over to him and do triangle attacks with the dual swords. And just don't stick around him, because if you try to go up to him, he'll interrupt you and stagger you. So save your magic for this part. I used it one time in the phase prior to this, so if I hadn't used it, I could have got away with stone shattering some enemies and using that rain of fire 3 times. So just grab these guys, back break them, body slam them, whatever it is that those combos do, and pile drive these guys. Some moves, when you master them, they'll also give you some magic points back, just the way that we just got some health points back for doing the pile driver. So look at that. See, I'm trying to grab him and it simply won't let me grab him. Now some of the other guys, you've seen me, I've grabbed the other guys. I just did a pile driver on one guy. Like, I don't have no clue. Like, the game it's either being a certain way or it's being broken, or perhaps both. But regardless, take care, please.